Okay, this is the last video for this week. What we're going to be talking about here is chart 19.6. It's called expressing purpose so that. So to find out what we mean by expressing purpose, let's look at this sentence here. John studies hard. John studies hard. And that's what John does. That's what John did. So I put what he did here. John studies hard, or what he does. Let me change that. John studies hard. Now, why does he study hard? In other words, what is his purpose? Okay? So let me write this. His purpose. In other words, the purpose here when I use purpose, I mean what is the result that he wants? So his purpose is the result he wants. So let's think. Well, why do people study hard? What result do they want? Well, usually people study hard because the result that they want is good grades. Okay, so let's say that his purpose is he will earn good grades. Good so far? Now, one way that I can show purpose in English is to use the word so that. Let me show you how I can do that here. I can say, John studies hard so that he will earn good grades. And I use so that. Let me make this black. I think that's confusing if it's green. John studies hard so that he will earn good grades. So that says to an English speaker, this is the purpose. This is the result that John wants from studying hard. So this is what he does, and this is his purpose. This is what he does, and this is the result that he wants. John studies hard so that he will earn good grades. Okay. Let's try another one. Let's see here. Mary exercises every day. And, well, let's say she wants to be strong. So the result is she will be strong. Okay? Now, take a minute, pause the video if you want to, and just think, how can I show, this is what Mary does, and this is what she wants. This is her purpose, or the result that she wants. How can I say that? Take a minute and think. Write it down if you want to. Pause the video if you need to. Okay, so the way I can say it is I can say, Mary exercises every day so that she, again I want to make that same color. Mary exercises every day so that she will be strong. This is what Mary does, and this is her purpose, or the result that she wants. Good so far? Okay. Now, so that is usually used with will, forms of will, and forms of can. There's one other option, and we'll talk about that briefly. But for right now, let me just make a note here. So that can be used with will. in the result. So I could say, John studies hard so that he will earn good grades. Or Mary exercises every day so that she will be strong. So one word that I can use in the result clause of so that is will. Now, is will past, present, or future? You know that, right? Will is future. So, you might ask a question, what do I do if this happened in the past? And I want to talk about the past. So, let's take a look at this. I might say, let's use this in blue. John studied hard. And the result was he. Okay, so here I use will because it's future. Question. What's the past of will? Ah, you know, right? Would. So, he would get good grades. So, again, this is what he did, and this is the result that he wanted, or this is his purpose. So, again, I can join these two, also using so that. So, John studied hard so that he would earn good grades. And that's how I say it if it happened in the past. Let's try that with Mary. Mary exercises every day so that she will be strong. Would you just take a minute and say, how would I say this if this is what she does now so that she'll have this result in the future, right? Mary exercises every day now so that she will be strong in the future. Let's say we're not talking about now in the future, we're talking about 10 years ago. We're talking about the past. Can you please think, how would I say this in the past? And then pause the video if you need to or want to, and then we'll talk about the answer. So, okay, welcome back. So here, we'll make this past and say, Mary exercised every day. And again, the way that I show, this is what she did, and this is the result that she wanted, is I will use the word so that. And Mary exercised every day, and the result would be so that she, and I'll say past of will, would, because we're talking about the past. So she would be strong. So that can be used with will, and also the past of will, would. So I'll write here, and would. So that can be used with will and with would. Okay, I'm going to erase this, and then we'll talk about the next thing I want to teach you. So, let's say John is buying a computer John is buying a computer. That's what John does, or that's what John is doing now. Let's say, what is his purpose? What's the result that he wants from buying a computer? Maybe the result is he wants to be able to type his papers. So I could say, the result that he wants is he can type his papers. So John is buying a computer. He can type his papers for school. So again, if I want to show that this is what he does, and this is the result that he wants, this is his purpose, I can use the word so that. And again, I'll make this small. Now, what I want to point out here about this sentence is, remember we said in the just a few minutes ago that so that is often used with will. So that can also be used with can. And I use can when I want to show ability. John's buying a computer because he wants the ability to be able to type his papers. So if I'm talking about something, doing something so you can do something, I will use so that with can. So let me see here. So I'll write here so that is also used with can. So John is buying a computer, and the result is he can type his papers. So I can say John is buying a computer so that he can type his papers. So that is often used with can. Okay, let's look at another example. Alice, well, let's say Alicia. Alicia is saving her money. And so, let's talk about what her purpose is. This is what she's doing. What is her purpose? Well, let's say she wants to be able to buy a house. So the result that she wants, she's saving her money. Why? Well, the result would be she can buy a house. Okay? And again, so that can be used with can. So again, I think this is pretty straightforward, but please do this. How do I show this is what Alicia is doing, and this is her purpose. This is the result that she wants. Would you please pause the video if you need to, but how do I connect those? Okay. I think you might not even have had to pause the video, right? I just say so that here. Okay. So Alicia is saving her money so that she can buy a house. So when I want to show the purpose or the result is some ability that I want or something that I can do, I'll use the word can. So we've learned two things. I can use so that with will or would, and I can use so that with can. Now, you might be able to guess what I'm going to talk about next. When we talked about will, I said, oh, what do I do if it's in the past? So, what do I do if it's in the past with can? You might be able to guess, but let's talk about that. So, let's say that John saved his money 5 years ago. This is in the past because he wanted to type his papers. He wanted the ability to type his papers. So I could say John was saving his money and then let me put so that in a different color. So that he blank type his papers. Okay, so what would I put here? Well, you might know already, but if you don't, let me just ask a question. What is the past of can? This is past. John was saving his money. So if I want to make this past too, How do I do it? Yeah, you're right. I use could, which is the past of can. So that I could say, John was saving his money. Oh, wow. Whoa. You can tell it's getting late at night because I just got very confused, didn't I? Okay, so not John was saving his money. Alicia was saving his money so she could buy a house. John, let's make this past. John bought a computer. Oh my, I'm glad I'm almost finished here. Okay, John bought a computer so that he, and then the past of can is could, so that he could type his papers. And this shows, oh, this is what he wanted. This was his purpose. This was the result. And it's something, he wanted this ability. It's something that he could do. And that he wanted something that he could do in the past. So I can also use could to show its past, or could. So let's try one more. Alicia is saving her money so that she can buy a house. Would you please take this sentence and make it into the past? Pause the computer if you want. Okay, so I will write this on the board now. Alicia was saving her money. So because it's past, I'll use was saving, and then I'll say so that, because this is the thing that she wants, she could buy a house. Okay? Alicia was saving her money so that she could buy a house. Okay. Now, okay. So, I hope that's clear. Again, if you have a question, please jot it down. Maybe look at the video again, but if that's not clear, please talk with Tran Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5:30 to 6:45, or you can meet with me on Thursdays from 7 o'clock. We can all from 7 o'clock until 7:50, I think. 7:45 or 7:50. I forget what I said in the announcement. But yeah, I want to have one time where we can all come together as a class and talk about questions you have. So, this is good and this is good. There's one more thing that I want to teach you about so that. The good news is this one more thing is something you never have to use it if you don't want to. Where is my eraser? Okay, I can tell it's getting late at night. I just misplaced my rag to erase. Okay. Okay, so you remember that we've talked about so that can be used with will, would, can, and could. I want to teach you one more way that I can use so that. So we've had 4, will, would, can, could. One more way, but this way, so far as I know, you never have to use. It's optional. Let me show you this. So I could say, John goes to bed early. And then let's say, what is his purpose? What does he want? Well, let's say he wants to get enough sleep. So if we want to make that with will, we could say, John goes to bed early, and his purpose is he will get enough sleep. Oops. He will get enough sleep. Okay. Now, remember we said we can use so that with will. So I can say, oh, if I want to show this is what he does and this is his purpose, I can say, John goes to bed early so that he will get enough sleep. Okay? Now, your book teaches you this one point. Sometimes, if you want to, instead of will and simple form, here I have will, my simple form. Sometimes I can, instead of that, use simple present and say, gets. I think, so he does this so that he has this result in the future. He goes to bed early so that he will get enough sleep, or he goes to bed early so that he gets enough sleep. To an English speaker, they mean the same. It means this is what he does, this is the result that he wants. This is his purpose. Now, what am I trying to, anything more to say? Oh, okay. One thing about this is, you never have to do this. So far as I can tell, I cannot think of any time where you must use simple present instead of will. But it is something that you will hear sometimes, it's something you can do. My suggestion, if you want to keep your life simple, is just use will, would, can, could in your own writing and speaking. When you hear simple present with so that, you can know what it means. Okay, this has been a long video, 22 minutes. So thank you for staying with me that long, and have a good weekend.